Wait, let's say our pronouns real quick. I'm a he.
I'm a starfish. You and I are sick.
You want into a lion's den.
You wouldn't know that it was human meat until they said to you, human carpaccio.
When I think about eating people, not only do I think about how they would taste, but I also like to think about their personality.
Walked into a lion's den.
Just call me my guy and we're good.
Yeah. Call me my dude. That's it. You sound like the dumbest robot made.
I am the dumbest robot.
Thank you for listening to Splittin Hairs. On this podcast, you're gonna learn about yourself. I'm Asha Salzano.
My name is Chris Metcalf.
We're all lizard people anyway.
Lots of milk. That's like the funny, for people who don't know, I know we're probably not even in the episode right now, but just, it is funny, like, the first time we went to like a diner up here, like a Dominican diner, and they're just like, coffee? And I'm like, yeah, coffee. And then they come back and it's like filled with milk. Like a café con leche. Is that what it's called?
Like, yeah, café con leche.
Yeah, where it's just like, I've
That's
never
coffee. Like,
had that.
Yeah.
Like the only place I've had it is like, if you go to like a Dunkin' Donuts and they're like, iced coffee, regular, and they just assume milk and sugar. But normally, every other time, it's been like,
do you want milk? Do you want sugar?
Right.
Or they ask, like,
yeah, you choose your own adventure. Yeah.
But nah, it's café con leche. There's no possible way you want it another way.
So is espresso not a thing there? I guess that's just like a European thing.
No, it is. It is in the Hispanic culture, but I think like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, it's always with milk.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's not like a Latin thing. You know, like I don't think.
Yeah.
Like if you probably went to like Chile or Ecuador, you know what I mean? I could see countries like that, like Mexico. You know what I'm saying? But like when like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, café con leche.
Yo, you guys, but you're not joking though. You guys like love your milk because like there's also like those like milk candies where it's just like leche. It's like you've got them before.
Leche con dulce con leche.
Yeah, dulce con leche.
Yeah.
And it's like a milk fudge.
Yeah,
basically it's like a fudge. I don't know, do people like take big bites of that? It's like very
you usually like cut like little slice. You eat it like cheese, right? You like, because it comes like in a block on a like.
But this is for people who are like listening, like that don't like, I don't know, aren't in New York or Bronx or like this area up here. Like this is shit that's like with like the Twinkies or like in like when you're checking out. There's like candy, and they'll be like leche del. How do you say it?
Dulce de leche.
Dulce de leche. There's like a
But it's not anymore. Not that it used to be. It used to be like that, but like there's not a lot of like if it's a Hispanic deli, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For I didn't articulate, but I mean like up here you see it like in Inwood, like we're in Inwood, uptown Manhattan, but yeah.
If it's a Spanish deli, it'll be there.
Yeah,
it's like next to like the Swiss roll, all of that, like,
and then like
the Oreos.
Yeah. And then like mixed nuts, but like they did them in house.
Yeah, those
like,
are better.
Like,
those are better. Yeah.
But it looks like they did them in house.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we do love our milk, and then we do like habichuela con dulce, like we do that, like.
Yo, have I asked you this off mic before? Have you heard about the I guess, I don't know if it's like a myth or the belief that eating watermelon when you're hungover is like a huge no-no?
No, I've never heard of that.
So like,
seriously, I'm not being funny.
No, I don't think you are. Like, so when I used to like work in restaurants, the first place I heard it, I was still in like college or like high school or something. It was like a late night grill place that I work at, and the guys in the back were from Mexico, and I came in hungover one day, and they had like they would make like fruit salad, and they'd make like all the shit on the side, and they were, shouts out to Salvador, and and he would like, they had fruit salad, and they were like making fun of me because I was all hungover and stuff, and I go to eat the watermelon, they're like, no, like don't do that, like that's, if you're hungover, you do not eat watermelon, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, I don't know, man. It's just like we grew up. That's what we were told. You just don't eat watermelon when you're hungover.
Yeah.
And then like I've asked, like if I have a good enough relationship in other places I worked. I mean, 90% of the time they're like Hispanic, like
in the
guys
kitchen.
working in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
So like I'll ask different guys, like
you go to an Italian spot, you're like, this is the best Italian. It's like Mexicans in the back.
Yeah.
You go to a Dominican spot,
and there's always like
Mexicans
one Brazilian dude in there that can like speak both, but they're like, oh, that's the Portuguese guy.
Yeah.
But I would ask them, and then I'd say about like half of them had heard of this and was like, oh yeah, I don't know why, it's just like a thing.
Yeah.
And then the other half was like, I never heard that shit before.
Did you notice it? Like, did you notice if it was like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans or Mexicans and Ecuadorians?
Definitely more Mexicans
had heard of it.
Yeah, but there was like I mean, I don't remember every single country of every guy, but like there was a couple dudes that were like from like parts of South America that had heard of it. Yeah. See, and nobody could give me a reason. Like they were all just like,
no, you see, that's the problem. You're trying to find reason in a Hispanic like superstition, and there is none. It does not equal, like there is none. Like
right.
Like, you know, like growing up Hispanic, like my mom, there's a lot of superstitions, like, you know, like, oh, sty in the eye, you denied a pregnant woman something, you know. My mom one time, like, we were at my sister's like gender reveal party, and like we find out it's a girl, and my mom just like looks over to me, she's like, I knew it, I felt it when I walked in, and the fork fell on the floor. I'm like, what? I'm like, but you know, it's like I to me, there is no possible way that there's a real explanation for that. So I think you just grow up being like, okay, yeah, a fork on the floor fell. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There are just so many superstitions like that where you just don't question it. You go, okay,
right?
Because it's like I guess that's normal.
There's something funny about that because like there's the same thing that happens with like, you know, like I grew up like Catholic. You know, like Northeast, like Roman, like Irish, Italian Catholic, where it's like the organs, and the priest looks like fucking like a king from Zelda.
Oh yeah,
you know, when he's hanging outside the parish after the mass, like doing a meet and greet. You know, like all that shit. And I bet you Kate's been to those types of churches. Like she's from Massachusetts, they have those up there too. Irish Catholic Church, like that very like that kind of shit. And there are things that like just get ingrained in you. Where you're just like, oh, or it's just like a hair trigger thing, like Catholicism shit, like where I just, whatever, like they hear like Catholic guilt and shit. But I think the difference though is like there's something fun about the Hispanic ones that I've heard, like the watermelon thing. You know, it's like so specific.
I think because it's so ridiculous, right? Like, like all of it is ridiculous.
All of it is ridiculous.
Like, somehow Hispanics like have figure out a way to even make it more ridiculous, right? And like a lot of things too, and I'm not, you know, this quite doesn't fit in with the watermelon, but a lot of things also is like spiritual. Like, like with Hispanics is like it's like this like mix of like ridiculous religion, but also like ridiculous like
superstition, sort of
like
it almost has like a voodoo-esque-ness.
Well, like, you see, like that's the thing, right? Because like Hispanics, like, you know, with our origin and all that, you know, we're half European, half Native Americans, Tainos, you know, African American, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like you know, we got to understand that we also come from that, and so we have like the white capitalism and then the like South African voodoo. So like we like take both of them too far. Right. So it's like that's what I think happens. Is like we are just completely lost when it comes to that. We are just like everything. If your parents say it's a superstition, like, and then the thing is too, like we have like little neighborhoods, right? Where like, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people have this, but like where, you know, your neighbor is your aunt. Like, if she sees you in the street doing something, she's gonna tell your mother. Don't think that, like, that's your aunt. Like, she could drag you by your ears to your mom's house. And your mom would be like, thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they, like, look after each other's child. So, like, I could see, like, the superstition, like, spreading. You know what I mean? No watermelon. Why? No, it's not good for you. Oh, that makes sense.
The spirits. Like, yeah.
I can see it like, we have that magic power of making things that are ridiculous more ridiculous, and there's no logic. Right. There's no logic. Like, everyone you asked was like, no, I don't know, man. And I don't know why, but they all follow it. You know? Nobody knows why. They just follow it. Like, I don't know. It's so fucking weird.
The closest logical reason I could come up with was that, like, I have heard, like, other places, like, there's this alcohol called poutine in Ireland. It's basically like Irish whiskey moonshine, essentially. And they say, like, if you drink it and you get fucked up on it, the next day, like, don't start drinking lots of water because you're going to get fucked up again.
Yes, I've heard of things like that.
So I wonder if maybe the watermelon, like if you're like hungover and you're just like chomping down on watermelon thinking you're going to feel better, like it's a lot of water in there and sugar, and it like probably like re-ferments inside of you, and you get like that second like wave of probably just being like drunk and
I don't think it's the second wave of getting drunk because, you know, they always say hair of the dog, right? Like, just keep it. Sometimes you got to keep a hangover.
Just a little bit.
You know, you just got to keep, like, a hangover going until, like, your body is ready to recover.
You're weaning off.
Yeah.
You're weaning off.
Yes, exactly. So, like, maybe the watermelon doesn't get you drunk, but it, like, brings all the bad symptoms. You know what I mean? Because like, a lot of like,
yes, I agree. I know exactly what you're saying.
Like a lot of like South American, like they drink like beer, like micheladas. Mm-hmm. It's like beer with lime and then like a Bloody Mary, like a tomato juice, and then like Cajun seasoning, like all of that, and they chug it. You know, it's like riding the wave.
Yeah.
But maybe the watermelon just like rides the wave of like bad symptoms.
Yeah.
Because it's like water and sugar.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And it's not really filling you up.
Yeah.
And it's all just floating around in there with all the bile that it's in your belly from the night before. Ugh. Yeah, I could totally see that. But they probably, you know, the rest of them just like, my mother said so.
There are things where my mother says so, and I say my mother said so. You know what I mean? Like there have been times like I can't recall. You know, when you're like trying to think of something you could never recall, but I'll remember. I'll remember in the shower 2 days later.
Right.
So like there are things that like I'll tell Kate like no, you don't do that. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. You just don't. You know. Like, I'm like, nobody asks why. You just don't.
Right.
You know?
I feel like white kids are like more rebellious with their parents, you know, like I'm sure there's things I'm not thinking of in the moment that like my mom's like ingrained in me, but it's usually not like my mother said so. Sometimes it's more like my mom would be ashamed of me right now if she knew I was doing X, whatever that would be, but like it's not like that. Like my mom, you know, I don't know if you want to call it superstition, but like the most superstitious thing I've seen her do is like if she loses something, she'll pray to Saint Anthony. He's the like he's like the patron saint of like lost.
Kate should start praying to him
souls.
Every day.
Yeah, the patron. Yeah, Saint Anthony.
She loses things all the time.
Start writing him letters. Yeah. He's like that
Just
guy.
Just pre-order your prayers.
Yeah.
Saint Anthony, I know I'm gonna lose this hair clip that I'm putting away in a very secret place, and I'm thinking that I'm being clever, but I'm gonna forget about it. Please find it for me in 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then, the saints are kind of funny because, like, they're not gods, but they're almost, like, kind of, like, people with, like, superpowers almost.
They're like your godparents.
Yeah.
Yeah, saints are like godparents. Yeah. They're, like, the cool ones. They're not cool. They're not just, like, it's okay with the saints, but they'll fix your mistakes. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's, like, weird because, like, you know how they do it, right? It's, like, a whole council. And, like, the Vatican has to, like, decide whether or not, after, like, rigorous reviewing, whether or not this person is a saint. Like, they tried to make... Mother Teresa wasn't made a saint, I don't think.
I don't think
like
so.
They were trying. Like, every year, they're like, who are the candidates for the saints at the Vatican? You know, like... And they review potential people, like, that get submitted to be saints. And I remember, like...
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So like there were saints who were at one time saints, and then like the Vatican decided like no, they're actually not. Yeah, no mas. There's Saint Christopher, the patron saint of travelers. His whole superhero backstory is basically a child Jesus showed up, and like Saint Christopher was like this big guy, and he helped people get across this like river because like I guess they didn't have fucking bridges back then. Yeah. And I don't even know if they had shoes at this point, you know. So I guess like little baby Jesus comes over, Saint Chris, or at the time his name's just Christopher. He doesn't know that it's Jesus. He's just like, all right, I'll help this kid. But I guess he weighed the weight of the world. Like, I guess this was like Jesus doing like, hee, I'm going to make myself weigh a lot. And then a big like gay bear version of me is like trying to trug him across this river. And then afterwards he's like, you're a saint now.
Oh, he's like Hagrid from Harry Potter's.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there multiple from Harry Potters?
No, but
are they twins? From Harry Potters.
You proud of yourself? You done?
I just, when you said it, imagine like 10 of them, like 10 clones of him standing there. Hello.
Well, there's a gay Harry Potter.
Yeah,
there's a black Harry Potter. There's a Mexican.
Yeah, it's the UN LGBTQ Harry Potters.
Yeah.
See, we made this bit inclusive.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Splitting Hairs. I don't even know if this may. Oh, none of this may even be in here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Welcome to Splittin' Hairs. I am your host, Ashlyn. With me, I have the donkey, Chris.
Yeehaw.
What?
I made a donkey sound. Yeehaw. You know, yeehaw. Isn't that what donkeys? Isn't that the sound they make?
Is that the sound? I thought that was the sound cowboys make.
No, I thought cowboys are like yeehaw, but I thought like a donkey was like yeehaw, like that.
Oh, okay. You didn't say it like that.
Well, yeah, I didn't like commit.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah,
You said
I
it more
should've-
like a cowboy than a donkey.
Yeah, it's because I
Yeah.
just got back from Texas. Texas, y'all.
Oh, you're a different person. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I've opened up.
It's part of your personality now.
I've seen real America. New York's not real America. Texas is real America. Yeah, they're prideful down there.
Yeah.
I did the whole.
New Yorkers are prideful. It's just a different kind of pride.
It's a different type of
Massachusetts
prideful.
people are prideful. New Jersey people are prideful. I want to say
Massachusetts-
Pennsylvania, but
Massachu-
Philly people are pride.
Massachusetts pride is kind of weird, though. I feel like Massachusetts pride is like, you know, like back when New York was like normal, and like you'd go to like Midtown and you'd see like a guy wearing like, it's like December and his like family's clearly there to see the tree, but he's got like shorts on.
Yeah.
And like the rest of the family's bundled up. He's like, I'm fine. This is nothing compared to home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and they got shorts on. It's like, all right, bro, we get it.
You're from
you
Massachusetts.
You got your Patriots starter pullover
Oh,
on and your
my
socks saying,
God.
hey, I got bigger trees than this in my backyard. You
Yeah,
know, like that
yeah.
type of shit. Like, but it's like you got the shorts on. I'm tough.
Yeah.
I didn't pack right, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is normal for me.
I don't know how to pack. I'm 50 years old. I don't know how to pack. Because I'm tough, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Massachusetts people are like New Yorkers, like they're always like, they think that they know it all. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
the know-it-alls. Philly, they're the toughest, you know, like you have
Yeah.
that, but like Massachusetts, like the toughest, but in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like New York is like was tough with drugs and all of that, right? And then like they think they know it all because we have like diversity, right? New Yorkers' pride is like diversity. We're very diverse, right?
Right, right.
Meanwhile, we all live in our own little sections of New York,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like Dominicans have Washington High. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think what makes the funny thing about New York is that like there's two sides. Well, there's lots of sides to New York, but like really generalizing, right? There's like the corporate, like mega, like
Yeah.
Chinese investors, like all these like outside money that comes in
Wall
here
Street,
because
all of that,
like this
yeah.
because it's the home of, it's a port city. That's why it started, the Dutch, right? Like this whole, like it was founded on that. Like this is a place of trade, of money, of building things, of moving things. It's a port. And then there's like all of us. Like
Yeah.
all like the low people that like live in the city that are like a product
make the
that-
city.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like make it fun, but like they make it too because that like it's this international. I mean, New York's like one of the biggest cities in the world.
Really?
What? Fuck you. I'm not saying it like that. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just excited
No.
about like I do love living in New York, but there is this like when you meet people from New York, like on a micro level, it's really not much different from like other areas. It just so happens to be like in New York, so it's like heightened. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I guess.
Like New York is unique, but it's like, I don't know, like I bet you if we went to a small Dominican populated area in St. Louis and went to one of their bodegas or like rest stop places, that they would probably have like dulce de leche. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
You need to stop saying it.
dulce,
Dulce de leche.
dulce de leche.
Well, but there's a but you see there's a difference, right? There's still a difference. Like there's still like they have New York Ricans because that is so, and there are
Yes.
Puerto Ricans
For sure.
in every state, but like there's New York Ricans. Like no matter what, like there's like when you're from New York, there's like a little something to like there's something
it's
that
thing
changes.
of like as a like I'm not from New York originally, but like when you meet someone and they have like a thick Hispanic accent and you're like, where are you from? And they're like, the Bronx. And you're like, yeah, but like where does your family come from? He's like, the Bronx. Like, it's like, oh, you're not like, you're not from Dominican Republic. Like, you are, but like, you wouldn't think that. Because like of such like a thick accent, like the Spanish, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's its own like thing.
Like if you look at like Mexicans in New York versus like Mexicans in California,
right?
You know what I mean? Like there is like such a difference. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you could find it would kind of be the same culture, but it would still be different.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. So I think like New York's pride is their diversity, right? Because it's like. You know, when growing up in New York City, like, I'm a Dominican, Puerto Rican kid, you know, I went to school with Asians. I went to school with Indians, you know, like,
right.
I went to school with black people. Like, I went to school with, you know, like, it's to the point where you just know, like, oh, no, that person's Jamaican, not just black, you know, like, right. No, that's Jamaican. No, he's Trinidadian. Oh, he's Panamanian. You can tell. You know what I mean? I think we pride ourselves in that, right? But it's not, but we still all live in our little.
I honestly, like, growing up in New Jersey, like, had the same experience in terms of diversity in school. Like, it wasn't like a predominantly white school. Like, it was like half white and then the other half like black, Asian, a lot of Indian kids. Like,
yeah, but you see, I only had one white kid in my school.
Well, yeah, that's you're right. But like when I went to Massachusetts,
and there was a difference too. Like with going to school here, like there's a difference from kids from Dominican Republic and then kids who are Dominican and are from America.
Right.
And then there's a difference between kids who are Puerto Rican and American and Dominicans who parents are more Americanized. Like it's like very different.
Right.
And you can even tell that with like Jamaicans that come like my sister's like I'm gonna say one of my sister's baby daddies. My sister's first baby daddy. He's Jamaican and like he always used to call my mom Miss Jackie. Like Miss Jackie. Like if he met your mom, like, you know, Miss Carol. Like everything is Miss, you know? Like
real? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like
there's something Eddie Haskell about that.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like
But my mom was but that's how that's how his mother made him speak. Like my mom was kind of charmed by it though. You know what I mean? Oh, he has respect.
Yes.
Miss Jackie, you know, everything.
That would work in
Jackie.
Texas.
Yeah. Well, it worked for my mom.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, that type of shit. Like, I will. So wait, I will. Since we brought up Texas, I wanted to talk to you. There was a couple of things I didn't tell you about my Texas trip that I want to save for the show, and but trying to use that as a bit of a segue. There is that like politeness down there.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing. Like, you know, going back to what you were saying, there's like differences between New York and other places. Like one thing I did notice that was like a big difference was like, people there are like small talk nice. Like they're very like proper. Like people would just like if you're standing somewhere, like I was standing online like waiting to get in somewhere and like somebody was like paying for like a parking meter that was nearby. And he was like waiting for the thing. He was like, "What's up, man? How you doing today?" And I was just like, I don't have anything for you. You know? And he's like, "All right, dude, I'm just saying hi." You know, I was like, "Okay, what's up?" Like, I'm all like, because I'm not used to, in New York, you're very just like, yo, I'm going fucking here to there.
If they don't talk, like, people mind their business in New York. Like,
you talk to me if you need something from me or you need help or, like, that's it.
Because usually if a random person comes up to you in the streets in New York, they're either looking for directions or looking for money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's never
100%.
It's never just like, "Hey, what's up, man? How are you?"
Hey, how's it going? Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I noticed that too when we went to the Cape. Like, everybody says hi to everybody when you pass by each other.
Beach towns are a lot like that.
How are you? Good morning.
Yeah.
Nice weather. Oh, enjoy your run. Like everything. Like,
yo, and what's weird about beach towns is that they're like more like, if it's like a community, they're more like chatty. They'll be like, "Did you see the renters didn't say hi to us?" Like the renters at the coast. Like, "Did you see that Dominican girl that's been in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
She hasn't waved back at us."
Yeah, I mean, I wave.
I said good morning to her, and she gave me $1 and said, "Go away."
She said, "I don't carry cash.
I don't have cash on me." I just said good morning to her.
Yeah,
I don't know what her problem is.
I opened the door and she gave me a quarter.
Just eating chowder.
Yeah.
Let's go have our morning chowder bread bowls.
Yeah, but it's different. And then like when I came back to New York too, it was like kind of ingrained in me because we were there for so long.
You're coming back saying hi to people on the street, and they're like, "Fuck you."
I'm like, and they're like, "You okay? You good? You good? I know you. Do I know you?"
Your brother and your friends are all meeting. I'll be like, "Yo, what's up with that? She's all saying like hi to everybody and shit. What's her problem?"
First of all, we went to Puerto Rico with my brother, Mika and my brother, and we were like feeding dogs, and he was like, "Fuck y'all feeding dogs for?" He's like, "Don't feed them, then they come back." Like it's like so.
They got a lot of dogs like just running around there.
In Vieques.
Okay, yeah,
it's like a specific.
There's like
place.
places I've been to in Europe that are like that.
Yeah, and they're just like, cause you know they don't really take the dogs in, but they feed the dogs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like they feed, like they, they'll take them to the beach to shower and shit like that. But they they don't belong to anyone,
Right.
And they like sleep outside.
Yeah.
So they would come around. My dog was like, my brother would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" Like, it's like, it's very weird. Yeah. Came back saying hi to people and shit.
Who, the dogs?
Yeah. we trained them how to have like a beach community.
They're
Like when people say hi, you don't have to give them $1.
They're like laying out with you. You're like, "Hey, Scruffy, you mind doing my back?" It's putting like fucking
But
lotion
yeah,
on you.
it was interesting. Yeah, it's like small talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went down there. I mean, I'm more telling you guys. I just, with all this whole fucking, all the stand-ups are moving down there. Fucking Elon Musk moving down there. Like all these people, right? So it's like, plus stand-up has been like desolate up here. So I was just like, get some stage time, fucking check out the scene, see what it's all about. And, I did a bunch of shows. And I met different, let's say, styles of comedians. And when I say styles, I mean like off stage styles. Like interactions that were new to me that I had never like had on this level, right? So the first one I'll tell you, like, so like I met a guy, I'll use my own name like for this. I'm not going to name names, but like I met a comedian and he's like, I'll use him. He was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm comedian Ashlyn Salzano." And I was like, I was like, "Oh, nice." I was like, "I'm Chris. I'm sorry. What'd you say your name was again?" And you're like, "Comedian Ashlyn Salzano." I was like, and I'd go, and this happened. I go, "Oh, nice to meet you, Ashlyn." And they were like, "It's comedian Ashlyn."
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
More than once. I encountered this.
No. Comedian
is a part of the name. So my name would be comedian Chris Metcalf. And you'd bring me up on stage as comedian Chris Metcalf. Let's give it up for your next comedian Chris Metcalf.
And is there a reason for it?
I didn't venture to ask. This was like all happened before a show at a club that I had never
But did you
been
like
at. I didn't know anybody.
Did you ask other people like in the week like friends, because I know you have friends down there.
So I have some friends down there, and I met some actually cool comedians down there, and I brought it up to them, and they're just like, "Yeah, it's just kind of like a hack thing, kind of some guys do."
Oh, it's a hack thing. Okay. I thought there was this like, I thought if their logic was like, so people can remember, like, I'm a comedian. Oh, comedian. Like, he's
I'm
a
sure that's
comedian.
like the origin of why someone started doing it, and then
Yeah.
probably made like a marketing for stand-up comedian class, and then they took it and then learned this. It's a weird thing, but I think that's what it is, and that's kind of, and like I
would only do that if I was a doctor. Like, if I was a doctor, I'd be like, Dr. Ashlyn Salzano.
Right.
Doctor Ashley.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
comedian, give me a fucking break.
Right.
Like, imagine if a construction worker was like, construction worker Joey.
Yeah.
Joey, construction worker Joey. I'm sorry, what's your name? Joey? No, construction
Someone
worker.
comes into your bar, you're like, "Hi, I'm bartender Ashlyn.
Yeah, like,
I'm bartender Chris Metcalf."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get, like, that.
And then when someone calls you by your real first name, you correct them. You're like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me." Like it's a pronoun thing. Like, "Oh,
Yes,
excuse me.
yeah.
Could you just please refer to me as bartender Chris Metcalf? Thank you."
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you want?
Can you, head of deli, please? Yeah. Head of deli, Rob. Head of deli.
Nice to meet you.
Like,
comedian. Want to order a sandwich, Chris?
Yeah. Like, I don't get, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't get you think it's prestige. Like, it's not a doctor. Like, I would do that if I was a doctor. Well, if I was a doctor, I wouldn't even tell you my name. I'd be like, doctor, call me doctor. Yeah, just
call me doc.
Yeah. Doctor. Yeah. Not doc. Doctor.
Right.
You know?
Well, what's interesting, though, and this is, and I think, I do think, like, New York comedians, we know plenty of New York comedians that are, like, all about the promotion.
Yeah.
We're all about the promoting. And there was, and to go off this comedian name thing, like, there was a lot of, like, I would meet a comedian and then of, like, a 30-minute conversation, I maybe talk for 5 minutes and they're like, yeah, I just did shows here and then I was just in there and, you know, I'm just trying to get up on my TikTok game and I'm doing Snapchats now and I got this deal with this and I'm just loving stand-up. And it's just like, we're just
and you're like, but what do you cry about at night?
Right. Like, yeah, like I'm down to talk stand up too, but let's have like a balanced conversation. Like I'm not a manager, like I'm not a producer. Like I don't know if they talk like this to everybody or like they don't know me so they're trying to get their like elevator fucking speech in. It's like within 5 minutes of most comedians I met down there, or not most, I'd say about half, like, of these ones, like, they're just, like, I met a guy who's been doing it for 25 years, Texas boy. He saw my last show. He was, like, scouting for openers. He was like, I run clean. You're funny, but I run clean. I can't use you. He told me that. And within the first 2 sentences of him introducing himself, said how many years he was in stand-up.
Yeah.
Been doing this 25 years. And wearing a hat with his, like, logo and, like, tour on it.
But I mean, to me, like, if you've been doing it for 25 years and like you don't have a big name, then like you can use the 25 years. You know what I mean? Like if you like, you know what I'm saying? 25 years, that's a fucking lot of years to still not be anybody. Right. And I'm not judging. Right. I'm just saying like the work we put in. But
I don't know that like, he's not anybody. I think he's just on a circuit of like cities and where he goes that like we just don't see or know about.
Right, but like someone like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart or, you know, like they don't feel the need to be like Jim Gaffigan, been doing this for 30 years.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like they've accomplished so much, right?
Right.
And I'm not trying to say that this guy's a loser at all. Like, listen, like
no, he's not. He's been in the game. He's but
it's not even that. Like, there are so many comedians that are hilarious that never make it to mainstream. So it doesn't mean because you don't have a fucking special or that you're not doing movies that you're not a comedian. Absolutely, or that you're not funny. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
It's, you know, you only see like 5% of it, you know, like the real world only sees...
for people, and for people listening, like, if you guys aren't like up on comedy, the shit you see on TV, Comedy Central, all that shit, that is like the tip of the iceberg. There are guys that have been on the road for like road dogs, or guys and women too, but usually hear like these like road dog stories where these guys have been on the road for like 10 fucking years. Their whole life is around living in hotels and going around. They don't even have a fucking home.
They have like a tour bus. They have no address.
No
they have
address.
A P.O. box somewhere.
They don't talk to their wives. They're just gone. Like, it's this wild, you know.
Yeah, it's like, but you only see like 5% of it. There are still funny comedians like Earthquake. Like, there are still fucking hilarious comedians that you just don't see. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not trying to say, oh, he doesn't have a special, so he needs to say 25 years. But, like, he worked for
that. There's just, like, a grind. Yeah, but it's just... So, okay, I agree, and I do agree with you, because this guy had respect. So, the main interaction that I wanted to tell you was... so, I had this... This was the same show where I met comedian Ashlyn Salzano.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know nobody. And it's this show where, like, we each do... like 25 minutes, like 3 comics, and there's a host. So like I'm first.
Did you know you were gonna do 25 minutes when you went there?
I found out like an hour, 2 hours before the show.
I love that.
I thought I was gonna do.
You're like, I'm going in. I'll give them a solid 8. If I have,
I thought max 15.
Yeah,
max. I was like, oh, they're gonna give me like 15.
See,
minutes
when I get booked for a show, I'm like, okay, 10 minutes. I'm like 10 minutes, and not saying that they're gonna give me. Sometimes I get 7, right? Sometimes whatever. Sometimes you get 11. But like for me, it's like 10, right? Like it's over.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
10. You're like, okay,
Because you can shave down from 10
Yes.
or shave or go up
Yes.
easily. Like 10's a good.
Yes, 10's a good thing to be prepared for, because if they're like, oh, we only need 7, you're like, okay, I could take away this line or this joke, or oh, we need 12. Okay, I could stretch this joke.
Right.
Like, yes. So
Yeah.
So you went in thinking how much? How many?
15 max. Like the 10 rule, basically,
Okay.
that you had. I didn't think of it as the 10 rule, but like that, basically that, you know?
And they told you 25.
Well, I found out because I like went on the site and was like, I wonder if they like have a flyer, and it was like, and the show's like 325, and then it's like 3 pro comedians doing 25 minutes each, and I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
because like for people listening, like if this happened in the fall of 2019, I would have been like, fucking let's do this shit. But I'm so rusty.
But even, here's the thing too, it's not even about rusty, right? Even like when you have like, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes tonight. Like, even like, because you found out that night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you found out. So even if you do have 25, even if you weren't rusty, it's still like a big like, oh, okay.
It changes up the thing.
Yes.
It changes up like you said, the flow, the whole like how you're going to attack, because you don't want to like, this is never happened to me. I've had the opposite happen to me where I'm like stretching too long, like a joke too long, and I should have gone a little faster. But like I've seen guys do it where they like come out hard and fast, and then they like burn out on shit before their time is up, and then
you
it's
can see
like
them being like,
now what?
That's a nice watch. Your wife got it for you. I wish I had a wife.
Yeah,
it must be like you can tell when they kind of burning out, and like I've been in that situation where I've come in too hot and then burn out because I was like, oh, I didn't know I was doing like what time. You know, you're just like off. And I've done the opposite too, where you stretch a joke too long, and then you only do like 2 jokes, and you're like, that was 8 minutes. You're like, I gotta do better.
Yes.
You're like,
especially because in New York, we are so, it's like, gotta have a tight 5.
Yeah.
You gotta have a tight 7. Like, they build you up in increments, and then you go to these mics, and it's like 3-4 minute mics. I mean, it's just, and even like we said, like most shows, like, unless you're headlining a show, that's usually about what, like 20 to 30 minutes for the headliner in New York, and then all the other comedians do like 7, 8 to 15. Again, the 10 rule, basically. Like, that's really where it goes. But down there in fucking Texas, they're like, yeah, man, I'll give you fucking 10-minute guest spot. Like,
all right,
they don't give a fuck.
So you find out you're doing 25 minutes.
So I find out I do 25 minutes, whatever.
And you've been rusty. There's no stage time.
Right. Like, I had been doing mics for about like a week leading up to this down in like I was between like Dallas and Austin, going like jumping around. And I had a bad show before. Just like a show that just didn't bomb, but it just didn't go well. I was just trying to force all my polished shit, and the crowd wasn't buying it. And I also went first, and that was the night I called you, or I was texting you, and I was like, I'm spiraling. Yeah. So anyway,
I was worried.
So yeah, I went home and just ate a lot of junk food. I was fine
and passed out,
Yeah, literally. So anyway, so I get there, and, you know, I'm introducing myself, and again, like, everyone's like giving me this like elevator speech, but they're very nice. Everyone's like very nice. And the one comic walks in who's on the show, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's up, dude? Hey, what's up, man?" Like, clearly, like, whatever. He's just a very liked comedian.
Yeah.
And he walks over and doesn't say hi to me, but I'm like with everybody. There's like 2 little high tops, and like everyone's like the managers who work there, other comedians who weren't there, and then like the people on the show were there. And we're all just like hanging out. And I'm clearly like the odd man out, and he walks over and is like, sort of looks at me and is like talking to people, and I'm just like, hey, what's up? Like, I have like, when there's like a moment, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Chris.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. And he goes, hey, and shakes my hand. I'm like, what's your name? Like, hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. Hi. I'm like,
you're like, where's your reset button?
Right, like,
Can
what's
you
happening right now?
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you trying to have a dick contest right now?
And by the way, we're in fucking Texas. We just went on this whole thing about how everyone's super chatty and talky. This dude's like, hi.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. What's your name? And he's like, you don't know my name? And I was like, no. He goes, well, I've been doing this for 13 years. My name is Bleep. And I've been on the road for a while, but with this COVID stuff, I've decided to come back to my home club here and do some shows. I'm like, cool. You know, I'm in like, you know how we are. Like, we talk about, like, comedy's like a business, right? Of course, there's this part of me that's like, all right, fuck you, bro. Like, I want to say that, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just like, oh, cool, man. Like, that's cool. How's the road been? You know, like, playing the beta. Well, you're like, that's my move. I play beta.
You're the oddball out, right? So you don't want to like get into this argument with this guy before a show. Like, you don't want to have like bad energy and like you know, like, you're the one. Like, clearly he's respected, but clearly he's a douchebag at the same time. I
don't give a fuck who you are, how long you've been doing it, unless you're like fucking Bill Burr or somebody.
Yeah.
Like, and bro, and if I found out just in a normal way that he was doing stand-up for a long time and didn't say any of that shit to me, respect the fucking hustle. You've been doing this shit for a long time, especially if this is your full-time job. I respect that fucking hustle. Like, material aside, you're making it work. Unless I find out that you're, like, pulling some Weinstein shit or doing something fucked up to get there, fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. But, like, this whole, like, you don't know me and like this whole pride fucking bullshit, go pump it out your fucking ass, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And you see that shit here in New York too sometimes. There's a lot of like, oh, I know only need names and you know, there's like that whole like, I feel like there's a little bit of that shit here, but like, but it's more like subtle and more like taken care of like politely, and people just don't talk to each other and things are awkward.
And they usually have like real credits.
Yes, and then, and it's like
it's usually like, okay, you've been on an HBO show. You could be a dick, like, okay,
right.
And it's not like, it's never like that. They're like, see, like, New York is not like that. Like, that is just a douchebag, right? And
yes.
Even the douchiest comic that I've met, and I haven't met all of them, but the ones I have met, I did run a show, and the ones that I have met, like, they're still not that douchey. You know what I mean? They're just like, they don't really care about you. They don't give you eye contact. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's kind of that instead of like, you don't know who, because that's embarrassing in New York. Like, for you to ask that question as a New York comedian, like, I'd be embarrassed, like, to even ask that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get what I mean? Like, even if I was like doing it for 13 years.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, go ahead, keep on. So
and I would get it too. Like, if I would get it too. Like, if I was coming in hot, being like, yeah, I'm from New York, bro. Like, I was such in beta mode. Like, I was not trying to like flex in any way.
Well,
so
I
like,
wouldn't say beta mode. I would just say neutral mode, right?
Well,
where
just
you're
neutral,
like,
right? Like, I'm not trying to fuck with anybody. Like, I respect this game. Like we said, like, this shit's like a business. Like, I'm not trying to start beefs or fucking get into with anybody. Like, I just want to have a good time and do my material. Like, and if you're cool, you're cool, and if you're not, you're not. So anyway, he eventually kind of comes around. I started like naming some people that he may know that I know and whatever, and he kind of lightened up a little bit. And show starts. I go up first. The comedian who hosted it didn't remember my name. He was like, and now, bringing up your next comic. This guy's really funny. And like the crowd's like clapping. He's like, he's from New York. Give it up for your New York comedian. Like, and I'm like doing this on the side. Like he kept calling me Metcalf. He was like, how do you say your name again? Metcalf? I was like, dude, just call me whatever, man. I don't even care.
Yeah,
like, and I
just
don't.
say Chris.
I truly don't.
Yeah.
Like, and I came up and like started reaming him out for it as soon as I got up there. Like, and I really truly don't care. I know some comics like, oh, you fucked up my name on my credit. Like, who fucking cares? Like, we're nobody. And so whatever. I do my set. I'm not going to get into the set except for this one. I worked out a new bit that I've been doing about hermit crabs, and I ended up doing it for like 8 minutes. Like, I was like kind of in like, I just finished watching the Patrice O'Neal documentary, so I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do what I want to fucking do, and I'm gonna have a good time. And if you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I was in that mode, and it was fine. Like, I probably could have been about 5 minutes, still working on it, but whatever. Yeah. It was definitely like, if you walked away from the set, you'd be like, this dude talked about hermit crabs for like 7 minutes, right?
Well, it's one of those, like, a lot of times when you go up as a stand-up comedian, you either like, you go up to do the job like an assassin, and you just like have all these like things listed, like, this
tricks.
This joke works,
Yeah,
and
like
I have to say this after this joke because that works, and then I can do this, and it can flow easily, and then but then sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna go up and talk about what I want. Like, this joke is not ready for it to be heard, but I want to talk about it so bad.
Yes.
So you have to make that choice.
Yes,
and
it's very philosophical.
Yeah.
There's different. I'm not saying this to you, but
Yeah.
it's almost like schools of thought, right?
Yeah.
There's some guys who are like, do the job, always kill, and then other guys are like, no, man, I gotta fucking work this shit out, and like,
well, you can do both.
I feel like I try to do both. So,
but it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
choose when to do it because you gotta like be kind of confident.
well, my game plan was I'm gonna go in, do some Texas, New York stuff up top, and then do this bit, finish it, and then when I'm done, I'll go into pull out the bag of tricks and just hit him with the jokes, right? So I get off. Set was fine. People had a good time. I went first. Crowd was primed for the next comedian, who was the 13-year vet. He goes up, comes in real hot, riffing off. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Back up one step. I get off stage. Host is up there. Crowd's clapping. Couple high fives. Hey, man, good set. Come back. The two other comedians on the show, the guy, the 13-year vet, and this other kind of weird dude, they're like, hey, man, good set. We wrote some fucking jokes for you to help out with your hermit crab bit, with your story. Here's some jokes. Check them out. And they had them on the table where my backpack was, and they were like, brought me over to them. I was like, dude, we wrote these for you. I'm like, I was just like, again, trying to keep things on the up and up, but being like, what? Like, I was just like, cool. Oh, sick. And the guy's like reading them to me. He's like, that part when you said this, say this, right? So I'm just like, okay. So I'm back, sit the thing. The other guy.
That is so interesting, right? Because it's like, a lot of comedians do that for each other, right? But they do that for each other when they have a relationship.
Yes. Or if Bill Burr's doing it to me. Like, if I got off stage, like if you got off stage and Chappelle was like, hey, I love this joke. Just do you know what I mean?
Right,
There's like this, like, you're like.
But there's still like a lot of comics that do it for each other, right? Like, there has been times, even people who like see you a lot, right? There has been time I come off stage and Kate is like, hey, you said this, try saying this, like, you said this wrong and that's why it didn't work, right? Like, there have been times where you've been like we've had conversations and you've been like, you should stay on stage, or
I pitched a bit to you last night,
and which I love when Chris pitches a bit. I'm like, that's exactly what I need, your fucking help. I could fucking outright you in your fucking sleep. But we do that for each other. There's been times where you're like, this joke is not working. I'm like, oh, why don't you try fixing it like that? Like, but we have that relationship, right?
Yes.
And I've heard other comedians be like, they saw each other at the club, like big names, and be like, oh, you going up? All right, I'm gonna write for you. I'm gonna sit down for you. I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
And that's a no. And then he'll be like, okay, you going up? All right, I'm gonna write for you. I'll be in the back.
Yes.
Like, I know some, but these motherfuckers don't know you from a hole in the wall. And one of them is like 13 years. And you're just like, what is wrong? Like, what is socially wrong with you? And that's Texas. But go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Very Texas. Socially wrong. Something socially unfit.
Oh my God.
But go ahead.
So.
And also, like, you just came off, like, you did well. You said you're coming off like your own little high. What a fucking cock block.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't even know if it's a cock block or a joy block.
That is such a great way to say it, where I was like, you're right, because I came off being like, all right, that felt good. Not the best set, but I worked on shit I wanted, and I killed him at the end. I got him back, and we had fun, and fuck yeah. Like, I was like, cool, and like, recollect it, like, and
it's
then just meh. Like, these are literally the things they wrote.
Yeah.
For me. I kept them.
Can I read them?
Sure.
I had crabs a couple of years ago. They living it up in my pubes so far. So, yeah, I can take care of crabs. Great work. Great work. Can't wait till they write a book. Didn't know where they were going with that joke. And that's just one crab. I got a whole...
Consortium.
You know I can't read that shit. I got a whole consortium of them down there.
Yeah.
Was this a
They're
story
like
or a
tags.
joke?
It was like a story about these hermit crabs that I had as pets.
No,
so
but
it's like
they thought they were writing jokes?
I guess they thought they were writing tags or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the vet goes up after me and he comes in.
Crabs a couple of years ago. I had crabs a couple of... Oh my God, nobody's ever talked about having an STD
Well,
on
they're
stage.
like hack tags that have nothing to do with the
well-
overall story. Not once, like, not
It's
once.
so cheap. It's
yes,
so cheap.
They're just cheap shot
But go
jokes.
ahead.
So, like, the vet goes up and he comes in hot. Like, the crowd's loving it.
Yeah.
But he's riffing
Off your jokes?
off my hermit crab thing. He's like, give it up for Chris Metcalf and his joke and his hermit crabs. He like said the names of them and it killed because because it's one of those stories where like maybe not everybody was laughing, but everybody was like very much paying attention and listening to me. So like the detail, like knowing everybody would know the names of the crabs, and it was it was like good energy coming in, right? Then in the midst of him riffing, says this joke, and then says this joke, does his rest of his set, gets into his material, starts doing crowd work, loses them, and then throws out 2 women after getting the 5-minute light because he's been doing this for 13 years and you should know him. Like this it was amateur fucking hour. I did other shows where people were like yelling during my set while I was in Texas and nobody threw those people out. It was like 2 drunk women who were like participating too much but having a good time. And he's like, I'm not doing this, and because he lost control of the room. Lost control of the room.
His fault.
His fault.
His fault. And I get it. Sometimes it happens. You lose control of the room.
Yes.
You can't get it back. Walk off
And
the
down
fucking
there,
stage.
that's easy to do.
Walk off the fucking stage.
Right. So he
Do
could
one last joke.
Yeah.
End it with a clap and get the fuck off the stage if you can't handle them.
He ended his set by throwing 2 women out and being like, I'm not even kidding. I'm going to wait here until management comes over here and throws you out. And like, everyone was thrown off. The crowd, the comics in the back, everybody's like, what the fuck is he doing? Fucking threw them
What did
out.
the producer say?
The club just went over and removed him. They did it. They removed him. Because, like, the show stopped. He was like, I'm not doing this until these 2. And it was so out of the blue. Like, he was, like, trying to get the room back. And, like, I don't know. These 2 women were just, like, I don't know, heeing and hawing and having an extra good time, I guess, louder than everybody. And you know what it honestly felt like? It felt like, you know when there's, like, a bunch of people that do something and you have to set an example and you choose one to get everybody else to stop?
Oh, the teacher move?
Yeah, it was like that. It was like, he's like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice 2 of you, the worst of all of you, and then everybody else will shut up. Because he goes, I'm not going to do this to the last comedian that's coming up here. I'm not going to let him do his set with you 2.
Oh, you're so righteous.
With you 2. Yeah, doing this righteous thing. And it was just like, he wasn't even making jokes.
Yeah.
They waited. They started removing him. And then when they started removing him, he's like, let's clap. Let's all clap it up now that we can have a good show. And the crowd was like, like, it wasn't, nobody in the crowd was like, yeah, get them out of here.
They were being held hostage.
Yes.
They were like, we clap?
Veteran.
Yeah.
13 years.
13 years. Veteran. You don't know his name? No, I don't fucking know your name.
Right.
Because you can't even fucking control a crowd. You get people kicked out.
Right. So that's how he ends his set. I think he made like a couple of little jokey jokes at the end, but it was really just this weird. And I got to give it up to the fucking host who fucking brought the crowd back to life after that. It was a fucking death sentence. It was wild. And so whatever, the last guy goes up, I watch a little bit of his set, I go outside, I go step outside, and the vet's there, and he's like, I was like, oh, good set, man. I was like, that shit was wild in there. He's like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta fucking get those people out of there, like really ruin the show. I was like, totally. Like, I'm just like, yeah, bro. Like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, dude, why don't you just, like, rip them a new fucking asshole?
Yeah.
Or just, like, be nice and get everybody to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's other ways. But anyway, he goes, hey, man, did you like those jokes that we wrote for you? He's like, I don't know if you saw it, but I fucking did them up there. And I tested them out, and they worked. So they're fucking ready to go, dude. They're all you. and I'm supposed to be like, thanks, bro.
You're the best,
Yo,
Dad.
yo, you fucking hooked it up with these.
Happy Father's Day.
You hooked it up with these,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Hell yeah. I owe you.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. You really left me an inheritance.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Like, what is there to say? Like, I think you're nice enough to even tell him good sad. Because I would have just ignored him.
I was so like in just like, where am I right now? I was in like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like, it was just like insane.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The fucking nerve. That's like. What do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, he won't make it. There's a reason why he's doing 13 years and people don't know his name. You know? You can't even control a crowd. You can't even control two women at that. Two drunk women. Those are the best. Well, if you know how to turn it around, the thing is with drunk people, and maybe this is like the bartender in me, but the thing about drunk people is that you got to talk to them like a drunk. Right?
Yes.
Like, you can't be all stern and be like, listen to me. Hey, I am talking to you. Like, you gotta like
be creative and like be fun and be funny, but also
just
not
kind of
like
be your drunk self.
Yes.
Right? Like, talk to them like you would talk to, like, if you were drunk, how you would talk to them, right? It's like drunks only speak drunk.
Yes.
There's no logic there.
No.
So, like, it's just, like, very interesting to me that that's what he chose to do. But, I mean...
And look, I'm not trying to say, like you've said, you've lost a crowd. I've lost a crowd before. Like, I'm getting better crowd work is something, like, I've, like, am, like, always trying to work. I haven't lost
a crowd like that.
Not like that, I haven't. But, like, well, the prison show I did lose them really bad. But that was my own fault. I was bombing, spiraling. Anyway. But, like, it's one thing to try and fail, but to do, like, to be like, you know what? No more show.
Yeah.
Just complete showstopper. Like, you got the light, bro. You got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Try your best to get them back in that 5 minutes. Don't, like, be like, you two are out of here. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10 of how bad these two women were compared to the rest of the room, maybe a 5 or a 6 in the terms of, like, heckler.
But I mean, to kick someone out, like, that's just like, especially, like, my thing is, like, if the crowd doesn't agree with you to kick them out, they're not that bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because usually the crowd is the first one to be, like, annoyed at someone more than you because they're just, like, not used to it as much as you are. And then you're just killing the vibe. And then you make everybody feel like they can get kicked out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And now everyone's
so
like, I better be quiet and laugh now. Like, and like, yeah. And fuck, I just forgot what I was going to say. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it was just, we're back from break.
Yeah.
We just had a meeting. If you guys saw the footage of the fucking sad meeting that we just had about, like, direction of the show,
but we worked
creative
through
director,
it.
We worked through it. We worked through it. Yeah.
We got there.
We did. We got there. But it was like,
it was 27 minutes, okay?
We'll release this like 10 years from now.
This was 27 minutes. Married couple can't even get through an argument like that, okay? This is fucking perfection. I would love to time a married couple, get in the same situation, and see them do it in 28 minutes. I think we deserve an award.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we
both handled it very well.
I think we should be couple therapists.
Yeah.
I think we should sit down couples and be like, listen, this is how we argue, okay? Write it down.
This is how you split hair. Yeah.
We time them, whistles, all of that.
You have 30 minutes to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do speed relationship training. Yeah.
You're doing a podcast together. Go.
Yeah.
You're doing a podcast together. What's the name of it? Go. Oh my God. That'd be funny to put, like, regular married couples, not even like comedian married couples, you know, like no one in the work industry. Like, we took like your parents or Kate's parents too, but I mean, they've been together for so long that they'd probably have like a name ready already. You know what I mean?
But then and also like the husband would just be like, look, whatever you want.
He's beat down already.
You just do it. Happy wife, happy life,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you want to do a podcast about chocolate chip cookies?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Sounds good. Do I get to eat them? Hey,
No,
that works. No,
when
it
you
works
tell
for
me I can,
Yeah.
sure. Because you're looking out for me? Okay.
I'm so broken.
Yeah.
I just want to watch the game.
I'm so broken. I just want to watch the game. Jesus, that's a shirt.
Yeah.
Talk about a fucking shirt right there.
Add it to the list of shirts.
That you're going to sell.
So many shirts. Wait, what was it? I mean, I'll find it out and post later.
I'm broken.
Yeah, I'm so broken. I just want to watch the game.
Yeah. I'm so broken. I just want to watch the game.